This VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook is valid Monday through Sunday, May the 24th. And we're looking at kind of a blocking pattern across the Atlantic to continue. This is part of an upper level system here that's just putting the kibosh on weather systems that want to move east, and things kind of get a little bit discombobulated. This is showing where CAPE values are, that is convective available potential energy. Just think of it in terms of instability. And the main action is really down in the eastern Texas into the Gulf states here with a frontal system that's really not too strong, but will probably start to pull up a lot of moisture. We're getting into some moisture that's going to be about a couple standard deviations above normal. That's going to be working into the region tonight. This will have a band of rain showers that will be developing across this particular area here and track through New York State with some embedded thunderstorms this afternoon, and probably getting into the Champlain Valley and parts of western Vermont either late this evening or during the overnight period, and then translating eastward. We have a ridge of higher pressure right now that's also bringing some low cloudiness across eastern Vermont that looks like that's eroding very rapidly now. And everybody's going to be getting into some sunshine with what looks like temperatures at least in the upper 60s to through the 70s, and in some cases we're going to see some lower 80s across areas that have seen the most sunshine, namely the Champlain Valley. As usual, dew point temperatures do show up very nicely here in the green, and you can see this plume of moisture that's kind of skirting up around this area of low pressure that's tracking through parts of Canada. A secondary low on the backside of this system even is cold enough to produce, yet again, snow. We're even seeing snowfall accumulation. I saw one or two of these here up to around 3 or 4 inches. So this surface low with temperatures basically in the 20s, which is really unseasonably cold for this time of year, is going to be having an impact for us later in the week. This will be modifying considerably. Of course, no snow on the ground. It's got to move through the Great Lakes, and that will moderate the temperatures a bit. And so we're looking at temperatures that could get down into frosty levels, maybe even as early as Tuesday night in the Adirondacks, but most of us really from Wednesday night and Thursday night across portions of northern Vermont. And a quick look at normal high temperatures: 70 degrees in St. Johnsbury, 65 in Morrisville, the more extremes and everything in between here. 68 degrees in Burlington. Nighttime low is still 39 degrees in Morrisville. Still pretty chilly, but most of us seeing temperatures basically in the low and mid 40s. Okay, looking at the surface chart here, this is the European, so we can see this valid here. This will be Monday at 8 p.m. And you can start to see a little bit of precipitation making approach here, as should be some shower and thunderstorm activity crossing parts of New York State. And as it moves on through, it pulls a little bit better moisture, and then the bulk of which should really rise during the overnight period. This is valid 8 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. And it looks like that'll be moving on through, but we have a secondary cold front that's going to bring us a little bit of a scattered shower and thunderstorm activity. Some of the thunderstorms have the potential to become a little bit stronger during the day tomorrow, Tuesday, and that's the one we're really watching. Then blustery conditions follow, and also some scattered rain shower activity, mostly higher terrain induced, and the wind gusts here could reach 40 miles per hour with the full tree canopy now that we have. That's lowered thresholds a little bit, so 40 miles per hour could produce a few outages. So we're watching that start to move on out in the east, and high pressure begins to build in for a pretty nice day on Thursday. It looks like we're kind of in between weather systems, and then a little bit of a backdoor cold front to the north of us is going to swing on through here on Friday. You can see that taking place mainly during the morning hours Friday. Again, terrain induced, a little bit of a gusty northwest wind on the backside. And another shot at some real nice project weather for this weekend, for Saturday. And this builds in with a nice ridge of higher pressure across much of New England, but mostly centered a little bit to the south of us, and that means we could see still some breezy westerly winds from time to time. And then as we get late in the day on Sunday, a little bit of a backdoor cold front here starts to work on through, and this is going to be affecting us basically for Sunday night. Thereafter, the models are pretty much not really on track. Again, this is a look at the precipitable water, and you can see that a couple standard deviations works on through Vermont. This is valid 2 o'clock in the morning, so potential for some heavy downpours here with some pretty moist air as it moves on through. It's also going to be a bit of a humid night in some locations. Then that little secondary bit of, you can see these little blobs of higher pulled moisture And that's what's going to be moving on through during Tuesday afternoon with a little better chance of stronger thunderstorm activity. Then a pretty good dry punch moves on in. Precipitable waters dry out in the browner colors. And relatively quiet weather until we get into a return flow. That looks like it's going to try to make it here sometime in the early part of next week. And latest indications, the models are really not on track with this, but we could get another round of showers and thunderstorms for the early to mid part of next week. Here's the 2 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday morning, standard deviations here, running about, it's 1, that's just 2 standard deviations. So not a big concern here, but certainly the possibility of some heavier downpours for tonight. Okay, last thing on precipitation. This is the total accumulated rainfall as projected by the Water Prediction Center. 7-day accumulated rainfall. This is the half-inch mark here. This is the 1-inch mark there. So roughly 3/4 of an inch across mostly northern Vermont. We'll switch to temperatures now. This is the 1 through 5 day max temperature anomaly. And you can see we're running colder than normal. The only place that's warmer than normal is really the southeast states and way up in British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, as we have a slug of colder air that's been across most of the country. In some cases, running about 15 degrees below normal. That's fairly significant, and it's also up in this area here, and that's what's going to be moving in for later in the week. So about 3 days later, this is what we're looking at here. And we get to near normal, so a little bit of a warm-up, still a little bit of anomalous warmth southeast and northwest. Weird axis, don't see that air all the time. And again, we're closer to normal as the weighted maximum temperatures start to make a bit of a rise as we head toward next weekend. All right, your projected maximum temperature is with the Iowa State meteogram. And we're looking at highs today running a little bit. This is centered on Montpelier, so a little bit cooler because of the cloud cover, the marine layer that's moved in this morning. Tomorrow we're going to get up into that 75 to 80 degree realm is what it looks like right now. And then a pretty sharp drop in temperature with max temperatures basically around 55. And then we climb back up to around 65. And then a bit of a cool down again over the weekend as another shot, a reinforcing shot of very chilly Canadian air begins to work into the region. Let's take a look at dew point temperatures and compare that. This is your dew point temperatures here. So we max out during the afternoon tomorrow with the higher dew points and basically the low 60s. Then a drop in dew point temperatures means a lot less humid conditions and even a drop almost to the point where we don't want to see this because dew point temperatures running about 15 to 20 degrees means a very super dry atmosphere, and that could mean some of us get susceptible to frost with that secondary push as well. So we have frost possibilities basically Wednesday, Thursday night, and it looks like again somewhere along about either Friday night or Saturday night. And last but not least, I want to end on this note. We're seeing a lot of blockingness, that is cut off low pressure systems that just kind of spin away. There's a second area of low pressure that keeps developing southeast of Greenland, and this kind of holding, log jamming a lot of the weather systems across the northern hemisphere. So consequently, we're getting these big, deep troughs of low pressure, and indeed, that's what will be taking place later this week and giving us really unusually or unseasonably cool weather. Thanks for watching. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.